For a lot of people, doing my own research and duty, right, is basically scrolling through Twitter, right?
Or watching this. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Change Debrief podcast right here on Change Debrief's YouTube page. And if you're listening on Spotify, welcome. We're now on Spotify.
Hey!
If you missed the previous episode, we talked about 6 coins that we've recently invested in, given the recent dip to varying degrees of success. Some did well, some not so. But I think the most important thing was that we walked through what were certain things that we look out for when there are new coins for us to invest in, or like whenever we find out about new alphas and things like that. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Twitter influencers or the Twitter accounts that we follow when we get our like sources, right?
Yep.
And also more importantly, how do we conduct due diligence? Because everyone likes to say, do your own research, right? Do your own duty. What does it actually mean? And so today we'll also be sharing what are certain processes that we take. You know, it might be different for other people as well. But if, you know, your due diligence, if you don't even know where to start, at least this is a good starting point lah.
Yep.
Okay, so since Jackie threw me under the bus the last episode to start, right? You'll be starting today. What are some Twitter accounts that you follow and why do you follow them?
Right. So, I mean, obviously, the first... Oh my God, I started obviously again. But, you know, if you haven't followed us on Twitter, please do.
Hey.
That's the first account you should follow. So for me... you know, so I think in the previous episode, for me, I also like to... I categorize my feed and content via 3 pointers also, right? So the first one that I follow, I categorize them as like, you know, Twitter threads of wisdom.
Okay.
Right. So there's a few Twitter influencers. They always tweet out long threads.
Yeah.
You know, thread number 1, number 2, number 3, and then I enjoy reading their train of thoughts, and then I follow how they think, and then they build up to their eventual conclusion, which is it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
So the first category of influencers that I follow, basically I call them again the let me see, they have long threads of wisdom one.
Okay.
The first one that I really like a lot is this account called Croissant.
Okay.
Yeah, you know the actual croissant, but yeah, so it's an actual image, the profile image of a croissant.
Okay.
They have about, I don't know, they grew from, I follow them from about 20 to 30,000 followers. I think right now they probably have like 50 to 70k followers already.
Okay.
They don't shield coins. They only talk about threads of wisdom basically. So like for example, why I'm bullish on this.
Yeah.
Earlier today, they basically talked about why Ethereum is something that everyone should look at and what's the development in this space. I like it because, you know, a lot of people are very hyped up on, you know, the new shiny things.
Yeah.
Right. And then they talk about the new coins, which one is blowing up. But today I saw his thread and then he reminded us that, hey guys, you know, Ethereum is still king. This is why.
Yeah.
And then I learned a lot. So the 2 things that I learned, right, is basically he pointed out, maybe we can pull up the thread.
Yeah.
So he basically pointed out that among all the Ethereum in circulations, right, how many percentage is in, for example, is in a smart contract, how many is in staking, how many is lost in circulation, and then he tabulated the whole thing, about 70+% of them, right, is actually locked up.
Oh, okay.
What it means is that, right, actually, right, Ethereum won't crash so badly because they're all tied up in all these places.
Yeah.
So that was something new to me.
People can't just mess sell like all of a sudden.
Correct. So that was something new to me. And then he ended the thread with saying, we're slowly moving towards a mindset of, I'm buying Ethereum because it makes money, to I'm buying Ethereum because I need it for transactions.
Or I can do things
do things with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, wow, so it just grounded me on ETH, right?
Yeah.
Which is the first 2 coins that I bought in 2017 lah. So I really like that a lot. And they don't shield coins.
Yeah.
This account, I don't even know who's behind it, but they just have like long threads of like, you know, why NFT is this next big thing, right? Why Metaverse is big, and then today they talked about the person behind it talked about Ethereum, right? So I love it a lot.
Okay.
So that's my first one for this category. For this category also, there's a few that I also like. So there's Money with Carter. I don't know whether people... I think most people who are on Twitter might have seen this thread which sort of blew him up in terms of popularity, right? So the thread is basically how to 50x your money or something like that.
Okay.
And then it's very logical. And the other account which falls under this category of threads of wisdom, right, is also Natasha Cher.
Yeah.
She's a female. She's a PhD person, and she talks about, she gives very authoritative like threats. For example, this morning he's
not threat like authoritative, like threads.
Yeah. So she basically said like why I think social tokens are not sustainable.
Okay.
You know, it's like I'm telling you this because this is ABCDE. I'm like, okay, Ken, I give it to you. I listen to you, right? What you have to say, right? So I love it. And the fourth one in this category is basically in the NFT space. I think everyone should follow Punk6529.
Yeah.
So basically, he's a very big advocate of like, you know, the NFT, and he has a very clear idea of how NFT will play out. And then he'll lay out his theses and like, wow, the way she think about NFT is just, wow, like next level shit. And then I just enjoy all of the threads. So this is basically the first category of influencers that I will follow.
Okay.
And I will categorize them as like, you know, threads and stuff like that lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I also have 3 categories, but for me it's slightly different. I think for me I look at macro overview generalists. So like I think quite similar. Like they don't really shield coins, but they talk about the crypto space in general and like why is it thriving or what are certain risks and opportunities in the space. The second category are like certain advocates, like very strong advocates or the founders themselves of certain coins, just to remind me why like I'm in it, right? And then the third one are very high risk shillers, like alpha shillers, right? Like 90% of the coins they shield are like won't make it one, but then there's the 10% that really might be gems, and so I just look at them to as my one-stop shop lah, to get all the latest like coins, right? To know which meme coins to like ape into if like it's required. So for the I think in terms of like the overview generalist ones, I quite like these two guys. You might have heard of them. They're basically David Hoffman and like Ryan Sean Adams lah. They are from like the Bankless team. Even though they are very much pro Ethereum, I think they talk about crypto in general. And like they also keep me in check because I think like for the, like what they normally like to do like during the bear market also is that they will tweet things like, if you sold during this bear market, you're not gonna make it, you know, or you're a fool for doing that. So like it really helps you keep in check. It's very nice to see on your feed. And then the other thing also is that when they do believe in a certain project, it's not really shilling. They'll just talk about a certain project, right? But it was they were massive advocates of ENS before the airdrop,
right?
And they were one of the reasons why I also bought ENS, right, before the airdrop.
Yes.
I feel so indebted to that. I think they both have a very strong understanding of like where the space is going. Why are these things important? They're not just in crypto just for the money, right? They're in crypto for the technology and for the application.
And they were early also lah. The Bankless guys, they were early in this space, so they've been following through from the bull market to the bear market. There are some influencers, they are only, you know, active when there's bull market.
Fair weather,
correct. And there's a saying that says, right, in the bull market, anyone is an expert. Correct. So that's why I think I also like the Bankless guys. They have been around for very long already, 3-4 years at least.
Exactly that. I think the other ones that are quite interesting to me are like, so some of the founders, for example, so like CZ Binance for like you know, the Binance stuff, the BNB stuff. I think it's just a very good way to get an overview of where those coins are going or what the infrastructure is, any updates that they're doing. I think the other one also that I think you follow also is like Do Kwon. For Luna, right? I think if you're a lunatic, it's like it's a minimum requirement to just kind of see where the space is going, and he will update on like the burns and things like that. So that was your first category, right? The long threads for you. Like what is the second category for yourself? I
follow projects and founders of the protocols that I'm vested in.
Okay,
I mean, it's clear because I want to know what are the latest development from the protocol, right? And obviously the founders, so the founders, they'll share a lot of like alphas, and they'll share a lot of like data. Not really alphas, but more of the data. So for example, let's say I follow, so I'm invested in this protocol called Arweave. And I follow the founder Sam Williams. So what he will do is he will basically tweet out, you know, the growth of the network. How fast they're growing, and remind us of where they're on track, for example, and upcoming collaborations and partnerships. So I love all those updates. So Sam Williams is someone that I follow. I turn on my notification for him. So the second category is basically the projects and the founders of the projects. If the founders are not active on Twitter, right?
Is that a red flag for you?
It's a bit of a red flag to me.
Okay.
I feel like the founders should be the advocate
They should be the loudest lah.
They should be the loudest. They should be proud. They should tell people like, hey guys, price action is price action, but these are our numbers.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, but this is what we've done. So I love it a lot. Yeah. So for founders that do that lah.
Yeah.
For teams that are not really active, right? It's not a long-term hold for me. Like Arweave is a long-term hold for me. Like even it dipped, right, I was still holding it because the founders were just sharing the stats. Like it's very consistent.
Okay.
Throughout the month, throughout the whole year, right? He has always been sharing how fast the data storage is growing.
Yeah.
And then he has never stopped updating and addressing, for example, when people ask questions, and he will just say like, oh, we're doing this and yada yada yada.
Very present, transparent.
Yeah.
I think similar to me, like I don't overshield this coin because I feel like I keep doing it. But like for Credo, right? Like, I think even though because it's a new coin, like to me it was also the fact that Josh Goodbody, the founder of him, the founder of the coin, which is he's an ex like Hobie and ex like Binance like executive, right?
Yeah.
I think he's been doing the rounds like lately. He's like talking about all the latest like partnerships that's coming up and like those kind of updates. He's the first one to announce it lah. So like everybody else, you're only going to get secondary information. So the first time you want to hear that, you want to be early enough to like know, okay, the price might change because of this certain announcements. I feel like it's important to follow these particular founders lah.
Yeah.
So like going back to the Twitter accounts that I follow. So I've got this category called high risk Shills. And like to me, it's like, so the first category where they were like advocates of certain coin, right, is just purely to like remind me why I invested in this coin in the first place.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of distractions, new shiny toys, or like metaverse coins, and Sunny is like super big, and then I've got this big bag of like Luna, right? And then it's great because these advocates will just remind everybody, guys, look, it's $38 now. You should be buying because we all know it's going to. We all know it's going. Yeah, we all know it's going up there. So then it reminds you, okay, yeah, don't get distracted. Like remember why you invested in the first place. But these high risk Shillers are really like hit or miss one, massively hit or miss.
Yeah.
So the two are DeFi Brian and AlphaSeeker.USD.
Okay.
So DeFi Brian has been super hit or miss, but he's also very well followed.
Okay.
And I think like when I like he loves a good meme coin, right? So I remember the ones that he was shilling super high in the last 2 weeks, right? Was the Good Morning one, the Probably Nothing one.
Yeah.
So GM and PN. And then he also was shilling this new coin called Have Fun Staying Poor. So the
HFSP.
Yes. And so like all of these meme coins, right? And he loves a good one. So like I think I nearly bought into like HFSP.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, should I do it? And then like lucky I didn't, right? The whole thing just crashed.
Yeah.
But like he gets it right sometimes lah. Like the GM coin did fairly okay at a particular point of time. So to me it's like I don't follow him to like ape in whatever he says. I do it because it's like my first source to see, okay, what's the latest meme coin that everyone is looking at right now, and then I'll just see okay, is it too early or not, and then go for it lah.
Yeah.
But he's just a fun follow.
Would you go for it though? So for example, let's say today, he came in and said like, hey guys, we're very early.
Yeah.
This is this new coin and the market cap is $10 million right now.
Yeah.
Would you buy it or not?
I might do a very small bet, like a $50 bet, a $100 bet, just to see where it goes.
So you would
like.
Okay, so can I understand your thought process in that, right? Okay, let's say you put in $100.
Yeah.
And then at what point would you exit?
Oh, 10x immediately.
Okay.
If it's 5x, I might wait a couple of days. Again, to me, it's like it's $100 that I don't mind losing.
Right,
because it's the thrill of it.
Yeah.
It's the thrill of like being early in a meme coin, right? So I think if it's 10x, I'll definitely like sell it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, okay.
Have you benefited from any of these Shills or not?
I would have if I sold early. I held on for too long for all of them.
That's the problem. I feel like that's the problem. So I feel like because crypto move very fast.
Yeah.
And they're Shill already, right? I feel like you have to watch the chart. Like every minute, every hour one. So like I feel like I don't have time.
Yeah.
To like, and somehow I cannot set like sell order. I mean, I don't really know, or rather I'm quite sure there are options for you to do sell orders, but for all the Shill coins, right? Yeah. You new coins, right? Low cap coins, right? You can only get it on your Uniswap, your Pancake sell orders, right? No sell order.
Yeah.
So you have to be there watching as the price go up.
Yeah.
The first hour, right? And then it's gonna dump in the next hour.
So what I do is that, it's very very leceh.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to balance this like with your work hours also, right? But what I do is that I only buy coins that are on CoinMarketCap, because then what I do is that I create price alerts for all of them.
Yeah.
And then I always have exit price and entry prices
Okay.
for all the coins that I buy.
Right.
So then immediately, if like this thing goes way like 5x, right? I have a price alert for that.
Okay.
And then if it goes down like 20%, I have a price alert for that to buy it back. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it's damn leceh lah, and I don't see a lot of people doing that as well.
It's too lecture already.
Yeah.
So I've never benefited from a shoe before.
Yeah.
I've never.
I mean, by the time someone tells you, they already are hoping for you to be their
I'm the
exit.
back holder. I'm the back holder.
Yeah. So the other one that that I think is a little bit more interesting was AlphaSeeker.usd.
Yeah.
So he's a massive lunatic, right? I think you follow him also.
I follow him also.
And he's the other one that keeps me in check whenever Luna goes down, right? He keeps me in check. But he was the one that I found out about for Credo, because he's a massive Credo shiller right now. And a little bit too optimistic for me, even though I'm a Credo holder. But that was the first time when I saw it. That was when I started researching and then looking into the whole space lah.
Yeah.
So I'm still like quite convinced by his potential with Credo, and I enjoy his shilling. I think right now he's like looking at Credo, Lunatic, and KDA, and those three tend to be the three trifecta that like a lot of lunatics are looking into.
Correct.
So I know in some way it's almost confirmation bias. It's almost like being an echo chamber. But I think if you identify certain Twitter accounts that have some level of credibility, and you are very aware that, okay, this account is really for nonsense one, this account is really for credibility, and you follow them, then to me, I think it's okay lah. It's quite safe. It's a bit of fun mixed with a bit of seriousness.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Like, is there any other Twitter accounts that we haven't talked about yet?
For me, another one would be the technical analysis guys.
Oh, yeah.
So they show their charts, all the lines, because I don't know how to draw.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, I mean, I don't really time my entry also. Like for me, whenever I need to invest something, for example, I have $1,000 right now, right? I'll just go in, irregardless of the TA.
Okay.
So, but I still follow TA guys, because I feel like it also reminds me, have a rough idea of, okay, if this crashes, how far can it crash? And then that range, right, could be a potential buying opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So there are two TA guys that I like. One is an account called Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think he's quite legit.
Okay.
His lines are quite accurate. That's one. Second is that he's a author for CoinMarketCap also. CoinMarketCap asked him to write TA stuff for them.
Yeah.
So I followed him way before he was popular lah. So Phoenix, and another one is called Shadi. Shadi also quite interesting. So both of them draw very interesting lines, and all of them like quite zun one.
Okay.
I mean, obviously they can do something, on for example, let's say
like,
on hindsight you can draw all the lines that you want.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like help remind me of certain levels, for example the resistance level, the support level, and then I roughly know a bit of what people are talking about when they talk about all those technical terms, right? Like your cup and handle lah, your double top, double bottom, all those kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
So then I roughly get it, because I see a bit here and there also, right? So those two falls under the category of like technical analysis account that I follow.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily practice it. Yeah, so a bit useless for me.
FYI lah, but
FYI, correct. So like for example, roughly right now, I know there's a lot of demand for Bitcoin in this certain level.
Yeah.
So if Bitcoin crash to that level, right, I'm gonna, okay, I think this is a no-brainer for me to go in to pick up a bit.
Yeah.
If I don't know what else to buy.
Okay.
Right. So I follow those accounts.
To me, it's so interesting. Like it's so. I mean, you really need to follow the TA accounts to know whether they're credible or not, because you just scroll through general chat, right? Like I think when you follow enough crypto influencers, every 5 posts is going to be graphs plus like just random lines, and like some guys are really just like they whack only.
Yeah.
And like some of them will like look at patterns from like the past, and then this one is like like similar only. Then
yeah.
So it's really hard to find credible ones, but I think like the ones that you recommended, like we'll definitely put the links below.
Yeah, so they did do prediction also. They did draw lines, and then they say, okay, I think this is gonna move like that. Yeah. And then it did turn out to be that way lah. A few times already, then I'm like, okay lah, I just as a point of reference only lah. Yeah. So but I mean, obviously in crypto, right, everything they always say, do your own research, do your own due diligence. For a lot of people, me included, doing my own research and due di, right, is basically scrolling through Twitter, right?
Or watching this,
right? So I mean, we need to roughly know that on Twitter, as much as we follow influencers,
Yeah.
we need to also know what's in it for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? For them, it could be one, if they're genuinely trying to help people, that's great. Right? But majority of the new influencers, the new Shills, right? They're just there because they're paid. That's one.
Yeah.
Second is that they just want exit liquidity.
Yeah.
They want people to pump their backs so that they're selling it at the top, right? So I think that's something to note also lah.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of like Twitter accounts that you should be very, very like, wary of. So I think like the first ones that really like get a lot of people, right? Like get a lot of people's attention, but are like I think the super sus ones are when you see all their posts, everything is a giveaway. Yeah. They want people to like, share, retweet, you tag 3 friends, right? And they say, I want to change your lives. I've got this NFT. And then you look at all the posts, right?
Yeah.
It's all NFT posts, but no announcements, no winners. And it's like super expensive NFTs. Like, where are they getting this funding from?
Yeah.
And then you see their followers from 0 all the way to 100K out of nowhere because of all these like giveaways, right? To me, it's like, okay, a bit
too
of a red
good
flag.
to be true.
Yeah.
Too good to be true.
Really. And then I think like the other one that you mentioned, so there's like just people that seem a little bit sus lah.
Yeah.
It's quite clear that maybe they're being paid to like say these certain things. And then also maybe they got very high followers, but they could have bought it because you see all the interactions. Maybe they got 100K followers, but the likes or the retweets or the comments, the replies are only like in 2 figures.
Yeah.
So that's something to be wary of also.
Yeah. So for Twitter influencers, right? Actually, you just need to see how many tweets that they have put out.
Yeah.
I think anywhere between more than 5K or 10K tweets, right, is very, very healthy.
Yeah.
If you have less than 1K tweets, right, I think that they're new. Yeah, and I think you shouldn't listen too much lah. You should just take it with a pinch of salt lah. So if you look at all of those that have been battle tested, or those that tweet like good stuff, right? The accounts have been around since 2017.
Yeah.
And from 2017 to now, right? If you can even tweet like 1K tweets, right? Dude, yeah, you're just here for doing the bull market, which is bad.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
Yeah. Okay. So like moving on to like due diligence, right? Like you talked about it, right? A lot of people like to say do your own research. But a lot of times doing your own research means like you said, like going to Twitter and like looking at those things. So like what exactly goes through your mind whenever you do your own research? When you're looking at Twitter, what are you looking out for? Like, do you search for the $$ plus that
So maybe you can talk about that first.
Okay, I will.
Yes.
Sure. So like, okay. So for me, right, like what I do is that if I see a particular coin being shilled or being introduced to me and I'm like, okay, my first step is always to click on that ticker, the $$ plus like whatever the coin is, right? And then go through Twitter, see what are the posts like. Is it all just very obvious shilling? Because to me, like, maybe they're being paid to say all these things.
Yeah.
Or are there very interesting threads? Especially like at least more than 8 pointers kind of threads, right? Of people genuinely just explaining what the particular coin is about. To me, I think that's a very good sign because I think people are taking their time to really try and explain to people why is this going to change the whole blockchain infrastructure or like something else altogether by using blockchain. So to me, that's a very, very good sign. I will use that at first to just get a very good background knowledge of what the coin is about. And then if I'm very interested, I then move on to CoinMarketCap. Because to me, I think I get a lot of information that I need from there. I get historical prices, I get market cap, I get what the coin is about. But the most important thing that I actually look out for is what markets is it on? Yeah. And the growth so far. Because to me, is that if it's only on Uniswap or it's only on PancakeSwap, it's not even listed on the exchanges yet. And the growth is fairly decent already. Once it lists on Binance or Coinbase, there's always that quick pump, right? Yeah. So then to me, okay, there's a bit of potential there. Look at market cap, like we talked about last week. Is there not more potential there as well? And then the about page, so like read on the tokenomics, how or why is coins being produced and like for what purposes. A little bit about the team and things like that, and then I make that decision. So recent examples, like the recent ones that I went into was because, like I said, I think the application of the blockchain technology was very, very interesting to me, and quite a lot of them like weren't listed on Coinbase yet or weren't listed on Binance yet. And to me, it's that okay, I know there's going to be a short term like quick pump whenever they announce that. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. How about yourself?
To me, the process is almost the same. So Twitter is my source of information. And then, when I first see a new coin, right, then I'll click on it also, and then I'll find the threads also. Yeah. Interesting that you spoke about white paper. So I have actually never read any white papers before. Yeah. So confession.
I think a lot of people are there as well.
I have never read. So I think maybe I can talk about the red flags to me.
Okay.
I feel like white paper is not for the mainstream audience. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I feel like coins that blow up, right, is those coins or tokens that is easily adopted. So you have more users,
Yeah.
right? So you want them to adopt, right? It has to be very easily explained to them.
Yeah.
So I go to the website. I go to the website, right? If the website cannot convince me or sell me what they're trying to do, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm out. Like, okay, this is not for me because I don't understand your product.
That's great. Actually,
right? So which means I don't really need to go to the white paper to read about what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So and in terms of tokenomics, I feel like right now majority of the tokens, right? The supply, the release of the supply, the inflation stuff, right? The unlock of the tokens will roughly be the same already. The design of tokens is congregated their design of the token to be roughly the same already.
Yeah, copy paste almost.
Yeah. How many percentage of the token will be released at this stage and then whatnot, right? They'll schedule it out, right? So there's little need for me to read the right white paper. So I go to the website.
Yeah.
If the website doesn't explain to me, easily, and I don't get it, I don't have the conviction to hold already, so I won't bite it.
It's going to be hard for mass adopters to also want to.
Correct. So maybe I can. So the process for me to do due D, right? It's almost the same as you. I'll visit the threads, Twitter threads. I'll check out instead of the white paper, I'll check out the website.
Yeah.
Some of the red flags that I'm looking out for is basically the team. If the team, I cannot find it on the website, right? Which is actually more common than we think because there's a lot of projects right now, right? They're just simply forks of other projects.
Yeah.
And you cannot find the team behind it, man. I will mostly avoid. I mean, it depends on whether I want to hold it long term, but for a long term hold, right, I know very clearly or roughly the team behind it.
Yeah.
So team to me is quite important, and then who are the backers, and then if there are no strong backers or active investors, right?
Yeah.
I will most probably not call them my long-term hold.
I think the other thing to look out for also is that there's some venture builders or investors also that are a little bit dodgy because they're the kind that will just invest in anything.
Yeah. So so I look out for all these red flags, and I think the website is the biggest step for me.
Okay.
If they don't put thoughts into their website, right, I think it's just bad news.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So if they're like typos, if they're like very hard to understand, terms on the website, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna get it because there's so many opportunities out there right now, right? So that's to answer your question. How do I do my due diligence? I also avoid all the forks.
Okay. For those who don't know, because I think Fox is a little bit technical.
Fox is basically a copy of existing protocol because in crypto and blockchain, right, everything is sort of like open source. You can basically just fork it. Like for example, PancakeSwap is a fork of Uniswap. Yeah. But they worked. And then I don't actually know who's the team behind PancakeSwap, but they're backed by Binance. It could be from BNB, right? Yeah. But right now, there's a term called DeFi 2.0 with all the forks, all the time, the spell, right? There was a period of time in the last 1-2 months, right? It was very, very hot. Yeah. And obviously, I was a bit late, and then right now, there's so many forks in all the different clones in all the different new chains, right? I just avoid all of them because it could be a rug pull, it could be they're just in it, they just copy and paste. Hopefully, they get a lot of liquidity and then they're out. So all of this, I'm like, no, I'm done, and it's not a long-term hold for me. Yeah,
it feels like a trending topic. It's like hot for like.
And you just jump on it, right? So for this, nowadays I just stopped chasing this already. I was chasing a bit, so I put in some money into also and into Spell I'm still in time a bit, but there's just so many of that. Now I'm like, okay, anyone that come out, right, I'm like, no, it's okay. Yeah, it's just too many AD, and then like all the forks is just I don't know whether they're in it for the long term. Yeah. And I cannot sleep well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I do my due deal. Yeah.
I can understand that lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so to me, right, like, I mean, like bringing up like the white paper and things like that, right? Like honestly, I don't study it to the point also. I think I look at people's summary of what the white paper is and the tokenomics, right? Yeah. But I think it's still important because if you look at something like the Squid Game coin.
Okay.
The Squid Game coin in itself, right? The white paper very clearly said that the coin will be locked
until 20.
like for 3 years or something like that. I can't remember already.
Idiot,
And
lah.
it's like so glaringly obvious, but so many people bought because they don't read those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So like it's really just, especially when you jump into meme coins or like trying to ride the wave, right? Those certain glaringly obvious things are just, it's there for you to read before you lose all your cash lah.
Yeah. So I think maybe for investors or crypto investors, right, you need to be very, very clear on which is your main backs and all your
like the serious backs
and the have fun and then I'm okay to gamble to throw away money. That one you can play however you want lah. I think if you're very clear, I think you can do whatever you want. I mean, crypto, everyone is here to have some fun also lah.
And it's the most important thing also lah.
Yeah. So that's that lah.
Oh, I must say with Twitter, right, there's something that a lot of people don't use, which is lists. Because like for me, I'm a fan of so many things, right? I like football. I like like UK comedy. I like entertainment, and then I like crypto, right? And so if I follow all these people in my same account, right, my feed is damn confusing. It really feels like damn messy, and I get damn confused because I'm reading about football news one time and then crypto, right? So what I created what you can do is lists. You can do one list and you follow all your crypto influencers in one list. Do another list of like football and everything, right? And then you just have to swipe your app.
Oh, and then everything will be crypto related.
It's just crypto feed.
Oh wow!
You swipe again, it's your crypto, your football feed or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for some reason, right, I don't know how or why.
You're on multiple lists. Your list has followed by a lot of people.
My Liverpool list, right, has 4.7k followers.
Okay,
I don't know
shout out to Liverpool.
I don't know why. But yeah, my other list nobody follows, so it's okay. But it's so clean for me now. Yeah, it was really a headache before this. Alright, so thanks so much for watching, guys. And in this episode, we'll just quickly wrap it up. We talked about some of the Twitter accounts that we followed. In between, we shared some tips and tricks that we do on Twitter, and also what does it mean for us to do like our due diligence, right, and do your own research. Again, not everyone does it the same way, and also try and see what other people are doing. But this is what we do. And also speaking of lists earlier. Lists are a great way to experience Twitter whenever, especially if you like multiple things. And so at Chain Debrief, what we'll be doing is that we'll be compiling a list of important crypto accounts that we think that you should follow because they're educational. They are some of the longer threads accounts that Jackie talked about. And so we'll include that link below. And then while you're there as well, like do remember to follow the Chain Debrief Twitter account as well. And so thank you so much for watching. If you like what you watch, remember to drop us a sub, hit that notification button, and also like this video. And if you're listening on Spotify, drop us a follow. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.